What's going on, everyone? This is Sheets, and we're going to be going over UFC New Orleans. For those of you who don't know, I did spend about 3 years in New Orleans when I went to law school, and that this is probably going to be a very, very fun card. The people down there are really going to get behind this, I think. I wish they would have actually given them a little bit of a better card, but I mean, Holloway Poirier from that area. I mean, that's going to be a lot of fun. In any case, they also got Brandon Allen, who's from the area, and I really hope that they pack it in there. It's not the city is not usually a city that can afford, big events like that. I mean, they can obviously afford it, but the residents there, usually not that wealthy, and it would be nice to see that get packed in to some degree. All right, so last week we did extremely well in the analysis. I got a little greedy with respect to Mike Davis. I just went way too light on him after all was said and done. But as All Star DFS pointed out in Discord the other day, that mid range fight, which was a very tough one to click on its own merits, it's just something you have to give a lot of respect to. It just makes the rest of the lineups fly. And God forbid you get like a result like that, like Matthews inside the distance. It was that's what you needed. The underdog, I mean, Walker winning was huge chalk at the end of the day. So that wasn't a differentiator. You really had to have that Jake Matthews fight. Anyway, let's get into it this week. I'm sharing the fight odds, but let's also pull up the DraftKings salary, and we'll just kind of take a look at it. And the other thing I will tell you is that I had some pretty good results betting last week. I didn't do a betting breakdown, but I had a couple. I had Petrino by sub, which was good. I did play Matthews inside the distance for a lot. I played Garcia by decision at like plus 5-1 or something. So there was some good stuff betting wise, and I think I'm going to fire some this week as well. So I guess we'll start at the bottom, and I will tell you that I'm going to have kind of a weird take this week. It's not too weird, I guess, but we'll get to it. So let's just start from the bottom. We have Carlos Judice versus Nicole Kalari, and you have Judice is minus 340 to win. I presume we're inside the distance line's about minus 110. Let's see, not even like plus 240. So this is really not a good inside the distance line for a price tag of what, 9K, 9,100. The only thing I would say though is that she is a very high volume fighter, so it is possible that she gets like a 3-round beatdown without a finish and pick up 100 points that way. It's definitely possible, but in a 14-fight card, it's very difficult. You know what I mean? Very difficult to ask for that and for the 100 points to hold at 9,100. It's a tough parlay. Now, I will say that she's going to be probably very low owned. First fight of the night and a terrible inside the distance line and a female fight in general. I mean, so if you want to take a shot at something, something off the board, you can certainly do that. I think the play that people are gonna I don't say gravitate to, they're gonna be tempted to do, and I think it makes sense, I guess, is Nicole Cagliari side, only because it's such freaking box score watching. It feels almost really dirty to play this, but she did have 3 takedowns in her last fight and 4.5 minutes of control time. And at 7,100, you just see a box score like that, and it makes you want to try it, right? You don't really know Judice's takedown defense. there's also possibilities that Cagliari gets there in a loss. Let's say she gets 3 takedowns but she gets outstruck and she loses, whatever, and she puts a 30 ball up there. I mean, it's possible that she wins with that, but again, 14 fights is just a lot of variance. It's a lot of fights, so it's kind of hard for me to really click this on purpose. I mean, when we run the Sims, I have a feeling we'll get some of it, but I don't know. If anything, this fight maybe more inclined to take a shot with. I don't know. I don't know which of these girls I'd be more willing to take a shot with. I think they both have, low owned upside, sort of, if that makes any sense. But overall, the metrics are probably pretty poor here. All right, so let's get into this. Bruno Ferreira versus Jackson McVeigh. So right out of the gate, well, sort of right out of the gate, you have a minus 570 favorite in Ferreira, and you have an inside the distance line. I presume it's probably minus 300 or something. Not even, it's minus 500. I mean, it's minus 500 inside the distance, and that's pretty much what his money line is. So it's going to show up as a tremendous play metrics wise, and we've seen him fight a bunch of times, and he brings the freaking heat. Every single fight. He ran into a tough customer in Abus Magomedov, but aside from that, he's been doing really well. However, I mean, I would say that you could poke some holes in this if you felt like it. Rodriguez, I remember that fight. And Rodriguez, listen, call it what it is. He's very chinny. You tag him, he's going to go down, and he did. Then he got knocked out himself. He got smoked by Ruzaboyev. Then he knocked out the guy with the worst chin in the UFC. Good, again, another first-round KO over Stoltzfus, then Magomedov. He did get Petrosian. This was a really good fight, actually. And then he just got him down, and Petrosian's had bad takedown defense, whatever. So not to poke holes in him, but, he is 9,700. So for him to score well, he's going to need, multiple knockdowns or a quick finish bonus. Now, the good news, I think, for him is that I think that those types of things are in the offing here. Because, I mean, I'm going to regret this, but I think Jackson McVeigh is going to bring the heat here. I do. I mean, he's had some rough luck in the UFC. He was supposed to fight on short notice. I think he was supposed to fight what's his name? Cedric Dumas. And I think most of us were going to play him in that fight in DFS, and Dumas couldn't make it. So now he gets thrown to the wolves, so to speak, against Bruno Ferreira. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, he's 6-0, right? He hasn't lost since 2020. He knocks people out in the first round. He subs them in the first round. He's certainly not going to be afraid. And he's only 23 years old. I mean, who's to say that he doesn't come out here and get a first-round KO of his own over Ferreira? Well, I mean, he's certainly not likely to do that according to the odds boards. But I don't know. I mean, let's see if Ferreira here did get KO'd in his one loss. Now, again, Ruzaboyev is probably 4,000 times better than this guy. But I think I've made worse plays in my life than play Jackson McVeigh. And I kind of like it, actually. When we get to the betting breakdown, I promise you that there's going to be one of two things I play here. Number one, it's either going to be Ferreira by decision or Jackson McVeigh first-round knockout. Or first-round sub or first-round something. Because, I mean, I just call it vibes, call it whatever. This is going to be a car crash. And McVeigh's going to bring it. And, yeah, he'll probably get knocked out in the first round. But what if he doesn't? It's not as if Ferreira is a 10-1 favorite. That puts you another way. I mean, according to these odds, I mean, he wins the fight about 15% of the time. And what if I told you that 15% of the time you were going to have a $6,500 fighter put a number up on the board, I'm going to be forced to try it. I don't know what to say. As a matter of fact, I'm more confident in playing McVay than Fajea, because if Fajea wins, he's not necessarily in the optimal, where if McVay wins, he is. He just is. So right out of the gate, I'm really, probably saying something stupid here, but I do like the McVay side of this. I just think there's enough variance in this spot that you're just going to have to take a shot at it. So I guess technically I do like both sides. It's going to be tough to find a $9,700, to find the money for a $9,700 guy, though. But you could do it like you could with Mike Davis, right? I mean, you have a main event, which is, projecting like a lock, and it's 8,208K. I mean, like, you're probably going to be able to get to $9,700 guys with only playing one other underdog, maybe. So we'll see. All right, so Ryan Spann versus Lucas Brzeski. And here's another one. I mean, I know I'm not supposed to do this, right? But I'm going to give you a little bit of spin here. I mean, listen, let's take a look at the numbers first, right? So Ryan Spann, probably minus 110 inside the distance. I'm just going to guess here. Let's see. Spann inside is minus, it's great. It's like minus 160. So you have to play him. You know what I mean? Like, he's minus 160 inside the distance at 8,800. He's got takedown upside. He's got all kinds of stuff. But as a result, I think he'll probably take some ownership. Oh, is that right, Ryan? He's more of a sub guy, and that's fine by me. I don't need him to win all the time. Ryan, I need him to win 15% of the time. Even just what his money line is. I don't even need more. I don't even need to have a take. I mean, if he wins it, what his money line says, that's good enough. And like you're saying, Ryan, you said it yourself, right? His only chance is by sub. You know what that means? That the 15% of the time that he wins, he's scoring. You know what I mean? So I don't know. All right, let's see. So Spann is going to look really good here, and I wonder if I need. This is the thing, on a 14-fight card, do I need to play like Lucas Brzeski for leverage? You know what I mean? Because I know Ryan Spann is live to shit the bed this fight. I just know it. I mean, he just sometimes just shows up and does nothing. And Brzeski is all kinds of negative sentiment around him every single fight. And I guess sort of for a good reason. I mean, he's got 4 out of 5 losses here. But he did beat the aforementioned Walter Walker, by the way, right? The one who just, came off. Since Brzeski beat this dude, the guy has 3 straight submission wins in the first round. So, got knocked out by Parkin. I guess this is awful. It's not like he's 7K. Yeah, okay. If I get to him, I get to him, but no need. So Spann inside the distance line is very strong, and he's a very, very good player. All right. Jimmy Crute versus Marcin Prachniow. Jimmy Crute is probably, before I even look, I'm going to guess minus 130 inside the distance. Take a look and see. I like predicting this stuff here. Crute inside, not bad. Look at that, about minus 115. Okay, minus 115, big adjusted. And at 9K, that's really good. KO upside, knockdown upside, takedown upside, all this stuff. Very, very strong favorite. And again, like, the thing about these underdogs this week is that unless you're really leveraging against the real highest owned guy, it's kind of tough to play these guys. So yeah, I guess it's fine, Prachniow, but Jimmy Crute is certainly the one I would prefer. Yeah, thanks, Eric. You prefer the 2.5 to 1 favorite, but it's true. I mean, I think Prachniow, first of all, he has very little upside in general. Just not a guy I need. What about the difference between Brzeski and Prachniow? I guess they're very similar. I really don't want to play either of them. All right, so now we get to another, a couple of big favorites. We have the Dulatov fight and then the Gauthier fight. First, we'll take a look at, obviously, the Dulatov fight, and he's coming in with just all kinds of hype. And he's got a big old minus 600 inside the distance line. Excuse me, minus 600 win rate. He's got it inside the distance line, I presume, minus 300. Let's see. Even better, minus 350. That's tough. It's tough. It's a very tough. It's a very tough metric to fade, honestly. And he's going to look really, really good. And his price is a little more reasonable. His price is 9,600. Ugh, still, it's pretty expensive. But it's kind of tough to dispute the metrics. Okay. What about Adam Fugit? I still have this vision in my head of him winning as a huge underdog to Kinoshita here. And boy, oh boy, was he good. And then, I mean, what does the guy got to do? I mean, okay, so he lost. He got owned by Mike Mallet, honestly. There's no other way to describe this. Then he got Josh Quinlan as an underdog here. I mean, you don't think that he's live? I mean, they're bringing in all these superstars, and we went on a big run there where they all lost, right? He's 6,600 for Christ's sake, so the problem is he just doesn't win often enough. I mean, here, I don't know about this. So once again, he's going to win the fight about 15% of the time, according to his odds. And Dulatov's going to be probably pretty popular with his inside the distance line. So if you told me that 15% of the time Fugit was going to win, wouldn't you want him? And the only difference here between McVeigh, well, there's a lot of differences, but one difference between McVeigh and Fugit is McVeigh, I know, is going to score in his win. I mean, does it matter though? I mean, like if I was gonna not give Fugit a break because of his, his finishing upside, does it really matter at 6,500? I don't think so. So I don't know. I'm gonna. This is really not the way I play normally, and I really hope the Sims just don't make me do this. But I just have this feeling that this card's gonna that not all these favorites that we've never heard of are just gonna be the nuts. At least for Haya we've seen before, but between Dulatov and Gauthier and you know what I mean? Like, we'll get to these guys in a minute. It's just, I just don't think it's clear. Well, and again, so I mentioned the McVeigh Haya fight. This is kind of an unknown too, because people have just decided that McVeigh stinks. Nobody knows for real. He has last six fights, he dusted bad competition, but who knows? So I don't know. I think there's a lot of variance in that fight, a lot of variance in this Fugit fight as well. I mean, the UFC does a really good job with their marketing, and you're just not going to want to bet against this guy. But again, it was the same thing with the Kinoshita. Kinoshita came waltzing in as an enormous favorite I think it was in Singapore, if I'm not mistaken, or in Japan. Let's just confirm that. This fight was it was fight night that was Lewis versus Spivak. Yeah, I guess it was just Kinoshita was coming in as like, it turns out that he was a fraud. I mean, he got dusted by Billy Koff in his next fight also. Then got sent back to wherever he was, sent back to Asia, I guess. But nonetheless, can I say? All right, so moving on. So we have another one. You have this Atiba Albea Gauthier at $1,000,000 against Robert Valentin. Now this one is going to get jammed because this one is the cheapest of them all. This one's 9,400. And this one we've seen already, right? We just saw him in March, so it's not really like an unknown. So I think between him, Dulatov, even Pahea, maybe Pahea will get jammed a little bit, but if they can fit him in. But I think that Gauthier is going to be the one that really gets jammed here. And let's take a look. I mean, for good reason. Look at this inside the distance line. It's like minus 500 or something like that. Yeah, so it's minus 300, whatever it is. He's supposed to finish. Okay. So if he is going to get jammed, I think that we have to take our shots at these underdogs. And Robert Valentin, I mean, listen, I love when people say this. I actually saw this fight. I did see this fight. This is when I went to Vegas last summer, like a year ago, at the Apex, and this was supposed to be a close fight. Valentin was supposed to be able to grapple just as well as Loader, and it just didn't turn out that way. Loader just completely owned him. And then he had that weird fight against Torres Finney, who just basically took him down 100 times, and some cracked out judge gave this guy one of the rounds because gave this guy the fight because he didn't like wrestling, pretty much. So I got bad news. I am going to have some of this, and that's just the way my approach to this card is going to go. I think that one of these underdogs is going to win. I don't know which one, but I want to have these things spread out. Okay, moving on. We talked about this in the intro. We talked about this a lot. So you have Francisco Prado against N. Beretnikov. So for those that have not been following these streams, I've learned the hard way that the mid-range is just something you have to respect. I'm not saying you have to play these guys to an extreme extent, but you just have to give these guys a bigger boost than their projections will afford because of the way lineup construction works. You know, you get an 8,280K guy, they're going to score at least, 80? I mean, yeah, there are some variations where they don't score 80, but most of the time they score 80. So you have to give these guys extra credit. Now here is the problem with this fight. First of all, the fight stinks. It just does. So you have Francisco Prado. I guess his inside the distance line is not bad. I mean, his inside distance line is like plus 300 or something like that, plus 260. But Vermakhinov is not. So the fight itself is not great. And the other thing about Prado is one of his finishes was kind of fraudulent. I mean, Ottoman Azatar is like the worst chin in the universe. It doesn't even count. I mean, so basically he's lost like 4 fights in a row, including one to – not he's lost 4 fights in a row, but I really don't think this even counts. Jamie Malarkey's terrible and lost to him. Got owned by Zell Huber, makes sense, and he got owned by Jacob Matthews a little bit, whatever. I mean, he's probably going to win, but I would not be surprised if this thing didn't score well. And normally I would say, Eric, what are you doing? You still have to play it. The problem here is the main event. Okay, that's the problem. The problem is that you have a main event with the same, even more of a mid-range build. And as we'll get to, the real issue here is that kind of the ceiling of this fight is sort of the floor of the main event. You know what I mean? Like, if everything goes, say, Prado's way, he scores 100, and that's probably the bottom of the range of where the winner of the Holloway fight scores, considering all the volume that's going to happen there. So the good news is that this fight's going to be much lower owned than the main event, but it's still going to get owned. Like, it just is. It always does. And I always wonder, oh my God, why is this so highly owned? And then every time the cards get flipped over and you see who's live, it's just someone's got this fight. and it's going to be like an 81-point thing. Now, the thing is that if in fact any of these underdogs that I'm gambling on win, then you don't even need it. So that's good news. Because the metrics do stink. Okay, Prado would be my preferred play if I had to play it, and I am going to have to get to some because it's that mid-range deal. So I think Prado preferred. Retnikov, I don't see the upside for him, but I'll probably end up getting some of that also. All right, Marvin Vittori versus Brendan Allen. So you have this guy, Brendan Allen, coming to New Orleans. I don't know if he's from New Orleans per se, but he's certainly from Louisiana. Let's see where they list him from, actually. Shreveport, maybe? Maybe. In any case, I think that this fight is kind of a bust. I mean, Marvin Vittori never really gets finished, and Brendan Allen, he boy, if he has a big advantage somewhere, he'll take it. But I don't think he's got a big advantage here, like anywhere. I think Brendan Allen could probably win if he grapples. He could probably win. I don't say probably win, but he's got he'll have a chance if he strikes too. Vittori's tough. I just don't think this fight scores. It just doesn't score often enough, I guess. Let's take a look at some of these inside the distance lines. You have Allen inside plus 350. You know what I mean? Like this to me is kind of is definitely fade city. Okay, Kyle Phillips versus Vinicius Oliveira. Okay, so this one I think you're probably going to have to respect. Oliveira inside, boy, I thought it would be better. It's really plus 300. Oh my goodness. 300? I thought it was going to be better than that. I guess this stinks. I mean, if anything, I think Kyler Phillips is the better play here. I think Phillips. I bet you his inside the distance line is just as good. No, it's not. Boy, they really don't think this fight is finishing. I will say that Kyler Phillips does have a bunch of takedown upside. We will confirm that. I mean, he did have 4 takedowns in his last fight, and he had 4 against Paiva and 3 against Rojo. He won a pure striking battle against Munoz. He just doesn't score, like, ever. So I think the fight is kind of weak. It feels like something you'd want to play, right? Phillips going for takedowns. Oliveira had that flash knockout with his knee or whatever. It's just not looking as great as some of these others. I don't know what else to say. But then again, I mean, as we go through these, I mean, what have I really liked? We're going to get to some like an atrocious play that I'm going to make. You're just really not going to like it. We'll get there. All right, Michael Johnson versus Daniel Zellhuber. Zellhuber, I presume, is a huge, I would guess, huge favorite and only maybe plus 160 inside the distance. Let's take a look. Yep, big price, minus 600. And inside the distance is, oh, not bad, minus 115. Okay. Minus 115 is better than I thought, but 9,500 is a terrible price. If anything, I would play, I would clearly play Gauthier over him. I mean, by a long shot. I would clearly play Fahea if I could find the extra 300 for him instead. And I would play Span over him, Crude over him, I think. So yeah, I think Zellhuber is kind of a weak favorite. DFS wise, I mean, it's minus 110. I would prefer 9K. And he doesn't really have takedown upside. Part of me wants to take a shot at Michael Johnson, but I just think that Huber's too quick. All right, so we have Pitbull Fieri versus Dan Ige. No, it's going to probably. I was going to say it's going to defend, and it's going to descend into a striking battle. But for Pitbull, I had heard that he has these takedowns, but he hasn't really shown them in a while. And Ige's got good enough takedown defense where I think that really all variations of this fight are kind of low scoring decisions. I think the only high scoring variation is if Ige just like knocks him out and gets knockdowns in the process. And I do think that's it. That's in the offing here. So probably sort of a fade. So it's fun, right? I mean, so I was talking about having to play all these punts, but I haven't really found that great favorites to play except for those plays, and that's why they're going to be popular, and that's why you probably want to play against them, et cetera, et cetera. Let's throw one of these guys in here just so I don't forget. Okay, let's play Gautier, and I think you see where we're headed here. I mean, I'm not finalizing this lineup here, but if you make one punt, then that's the only underdog you really have to play. Okay. Kevin Holland versus Daniel Rodriguez. I don't know what it is about this card that I just have these, I don't say feelings, I guess, these weird vibes about some of these fights. I mean, Holland has really kind of had his way recently. I mean, listen, I shouldn't say that. I mean, the lead say that was tough. To Ritter, he got destroyed. Then a pretty nice easy win over Nelson. I shouldn't say easy win. Like it was a weird decision, sort of. I mean, he really didn't do too much, but he did stuff all those takedowns, which was pretty impressive. But 81 points, that's not going to do it. Now Vicente Luque, he got the takedown and sub, which I honestly think. Like, if he wanted to make his life easy, I think that's what he would do this fight as well. Because you have Daniel Rodriguez, who is really a pure striker here. And listen, he's been around. He's got 25 fights. He's coming off of 2 straight wins. Now, Morona is awful. But I don't know. He got Ponzinibbio out of there in the 3rd round. I remember that fight. Gastelum, 127 significant strikes. All right, so Gary got him. Magny got him in the 3rd round. I don't need to make excuses or whatever it is, but this guy's not bad, right? And I just have this feeling that Holland is just going to try to strike with him. And if that's the case, I do think this fight can end up going to a decision more often than you would think. So I'm not a big fan of the Holland play here. Let's look at his inside the distance line just for the hell of it. Oh, man. Another one, like minus 130, which is really, really good. But the difference here is that he's minus 130 inside the distance at what? At 9,300. And you have guys like just 100 or 200 above him, like minus 300 or 400 inside. So he's certainly a much worse play. D-Rod, I think that of all these punts, maybe he's the worst. Because I'm just not sure that we get the firefight with this fight. Where I'm sure I get it out of the McVeigh fight. All right, so I'm going to lose, I think. You have Roman Kopylov versus Paulo Costa, and at 8,900, a pure striker is going to need on this card At least minus 110 inside the distance, maybe even greater. Just being a pure striker and all. Let's take a look. Kopylov inside Kopylov is plus, what is this? Plus like 300. It's not good enough. The play I'm really thinking of losing money on is Paulo Costa, and I'll tell you, it's really annoying. Okay, because he's literally done nothing since I've been watching the UFC. Okay, first fight I saw was against Costa against Adesanya. He just got tooled on. Then he got taken down a bunch of times, I think, by Marvin Vettori. Then he fought 100-year-old Luke Rockhold. Then lost. You know what? I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I was gonna say that he's got a path to victory here. If he goes for takedowns, maybe. He hasn't gone for takedowns. Actually, he got 2 against Rockhold, I guess. I'm going to have to, I guess. You know what I mean? Because his only path to victory, he's not going to win like a striking-based decision. So all of his wins are probably going to score. But then the problem here is you have Kopylov who's going to probably take no ownership. So you're really not getting the leverage there. So I kind of talk myself into it, and then I talk myself out of it. I'm not such a big fan of the Paulo Costa play. All right, so there's one question that really, I really think you need to ask about this Holloway-Poirier fight, specific to DFS. And I think the question is in a big GPP, is this fight stackable? I really think you have to consider it. Let me give you the arguments against stacking it first, okay? Because those are really easy to do. Number one, stacking the GPPs is usually just a bad idea. It just is. Second thing is that it's a 14 fight card, okay? And usually the bigger the card, the bigger the samples, the bigger the range of results, the less likely it is you're going to be able to get there stacking the fight. So those are all very, very good normal reasons why you shouldn't stack the fight. Now, if you were going to stack a fight, you would want it to be 5-round fight with insane volume, and that's what you're going to get. At least that's what you're supposed to get. This could end up being, very similar to the last fight where if you fight stacked, you were happy, and that was the Royval Joshua Van fight, and that one was only 3 rounds. The other thing again that you could argue for stacking is because that other fight, the Prado fight, looks so weak in the range. Now the counterpoint to that, well, again, why you shouldn't stack, is that I think that I'm not going to be the only one. You know what I mean? I think that a lot of people are going to do that. They're going to, you know what they're going to say? They're going to say, you know what? Okay, if I have to end up chopping it, I'll chop it. But I'm just going to take my free, what's it going to be? What are the two of these guys going to score? 150 minimum? Maybe more? As opposed to, so that's 75 each you'll give them? Even still, though, would you rather play that fight in general or the Prado fight? Well, obviously the Holloway fight's a better fight, but the Prado fight is going to be 1/10 the ownership or something. Not 1/10 the ownership. I imagine that Holloway and Poirier, I bet you in cash, I don't play cash, but I bet you this fight gets stacked 50% of the lineups, I think. I'm just making that up. But as far as who's going to win, I have no idea. It's a tremendous fight for DFS just because It's 5 rounds. It's 5 rounds, and it's not even like that the ceiling is that big. You know, because both these guys are really good. You know, no one's going to get really dominated, I don't think. So I guess that 110 is probably around what the winner's going to score, and that's cool. But I don't know which one that's going to be. Honestly, it's a pick 'em fight, so I'm going to have probably the same. I'm probably going to end up having the same amount of both of them. Now, one thing you could do, again, just a little sneaky here, is you take your Holloway lineups, whatever they are, and then you swap them into Poirier, and then you rebuild again with Poirier lineups. And what that will do is it'll leave 200 on the table, making your lineup a little more unique. The only risk that you run doing that, if you give up the 200, is that now in that same lineup, you're not going to be able to get from, say, Kevin Holland up to 9,500, up to Gauthier, for example. Okay, but that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's all right on this card. I think all of those favorites have upside. So to leave a couple of hundred on the table, I really don't think is that bad. So I think I actually advise that. We'll do this in lineup construction, but what I would do is if you guys remember, I'd build lineups using a very conservative method, whether that be using Saber Score, whether it be MMA Default, whether it be median projection, whatever. You take conservative lineup build and take, let's just say you commit to playing 100% of this fight. You play 50% of those lineups. You take all of the Holloway lineups that were paying 8,200, and then you just swap them out for Poirier. You leave 200 on the table, and then what you do with the Poirier lineups is you make sure you build those with one of the more aggressive settings, whether it be using the Sims, whether it be filtering out for dupes, something like that. So that's how I would handle this fight. I would build whatever 5,000, whatever it is. I would take the top lineups I had with Holloway, swap Holloway out for Poirier. Then I would X out Holloway, rebuild with Poirier, and only use those lineups that pass certain ownership filters, whether it be geo-mean filtering, whether it be Sims, whether it be using the Pater portfolio manager or whatever it is. So that's my take. I'm probably going to be way too much on these stupid punts, just hoping one of them gets there. And I think that little trick for the main event, I think, is sort of mandatory, because there's just, even though it's a 14-fight card, those two fighters are going to get jammed. So whatever you could do to get unique in those other 5 spots is pretty important on this slate. I hope to do a betting breakdown as well, and I'd love to find some time to do a lineup construction video. If I can do it, I will let you know. Until then,